bag.
And there's the message from Longford tonight, so I'm going to pass you on to Gino. Thanks very much for listening. And
thanks for Hazel there, and thanks for inviting me down, and thanks for everybody for coming. This is probably about 30 or 40th meeting around the country speaking on this topic, and every meeting is very different. Every meeting is a different place, but they've been brilliant, the meetings, and they're very encouraging for not only myself but for the people that you meet, because this is kind of a people's movement. And I was just thinking on the train on the way up, it's about 2 years ago since I met Verda. Verda came in with Paul into the Dáil to speak about medical cannabis, and I had little or no knowledge of the issue, and I've learned a huge amount about that issue over the last 2 years. And I think Vera's story is, has caught the imagination of everybody in this country. I mean, there's not many people that I don't know what your family went through, and it's literally outrageous what Vera's family went through. They had to go to and fair play to Vera. I mean, the two things after that long battle of getting the license for Ava and getting the reimbursement by the state. There's also a caveat with that. There's a ridiculous situation we have in this country where, in Verda's case, and 6 other people that have got licenses have to basically go out of the country to get medical cannabis. So they have a 3-month license. They get the prescription from Holland or the Czech Republic and come back with it. So you can't get it here. It's literally ridiculous, and the cost is incredibly prohibitive. Just on the reason why we're here, one of the main reasons is in relation to Kenny. And I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm angry as hell when I hear about this situation.
Angry.
We all are, Gino.
It's disgusting.
I said it to Kenny privately, and people need to hear this. Anyone in this room can wake up tomorrow and be in Kenny's situation. Right? Everyone in this room may not have a family, but for us that have, we have to know that for our family, is this going to protect our kids? If our kids wake up tomorrow, same as gypsies, and ask us these same questions, are we going to go around and say no? Are we going to treat them as criminals? Not at all. Criminals are faceless people that hide behind whatever they hide behind. Kenny's not hiding behind anything.
No,
he's not. He's fighting for his life, and he wants to live his life, a happy life with his kids. He deserves that. And everybody in this room, I don't care who they are, whether black, white, or whatever, they all deserve the same thing. So this bill needs to go forward for them.
Yeah, I mean, the bill I put forward about nearly a year and a half ago, but just to give people an update of where the bill is at, they're actually discussing opposition bills at this moment in the Dáil, not in the kind of the chamber, but obviously a Dáil Reform Committee meeting. And the bill that I put forward, and I don't want to get into all the technicalities of it, right? The bill essentially will give access to people that need medical cannabis, whether that's legally and medically. So that's under a medical supervision of a doctor, because there's many people, and I don't know if there's people here, there's many people self-medicating, right? Because they've no choice. I mean, I got a phone call last week from a woman down, I think it was Kerry, I think, and it break your heart. It absolutely break your heart what that woman has to go through. She literally is getting the oil. Her son is beneficially, like he's really benefited from the oil, but the doctors, she's scared stiff that the doctors will find out that she's, the son is taking it. So there's many people in that situation, and I think it's outrageous that we're in the 21st century. That's what's happening. And I think there's 3 strands to this over the last 2 years, and there's no doubt that the perceptions that people had of cannabis was misconceptions, right? And the perceptions has changed dramatically. I mean, not only in the Dáil, the medical community, but the civic community. The most important people to me are youths, because I mean, perceptions would have, if everybody just thought of cannabis, they just thought there was no medical value at all. People roll joints and smoke wherever they want to do. But that's just one side of cannabis. cannabis has major medical benefits. And at the moment in this country, cannabis is a Schedule 1 drug, meaning that it has no medical benefits at all. Now, that's not true. I can tell you that's not true. And I'll
Absolutely
tell
not.
I'll tell you how it's not true. Because 7 licenses have been granted by 7 individuals in Ireland. Now think about it. That's 7 individuals in Ireland. That's 7 doctors and 7 specialists. So 7 specialists and 7 doctors have come to the conclusion that medical cannabis can treat that person's condition. In one of the licenses,
If it had no medical value,
Oh, well,
Kenny
yeah.
wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And Eva
Absolutely.
wouldn't be running
No.
around the garden
Yeah.
like the way
No.
she is.
Yes.
there is a medical value to cannabis. In one of the licenses for chronic pain, that license was granted to a person the raw form of cannabis. So basically, that person, I mean, I thought I'd never see the day. That person's been granted the raw material, the cannabis bud. Basically, every 3 months they have to go to Holland and bring it back, and so forth. So, and that's obviously they can take it in a tea or vape it. They say don't smoke and all that. That's their prerogative and all that. So, I mean, people are being forced out of circumstances to go to the black market, to leave the country, and to go into exile. And I think that's not acceptable. If our bill was put into legislation tomorrow, it would do a few things. The most important thing, it would take the chill factor away. In the medical community are very key to this, and there would be all
They want
sorts of, I suppose, opinions on it. Some doctors might think it's hocus pocus. Some, I'm sure, a lot of doctors think there is a medical value to medical cannabis. I mean, at a recent, the Irish Medical, Doctors Union, the IMO, they had a motion passed last year stating that, we believe if future legislation is legislated in Ireland, we support that legislation. That's highly significant. That's what happening. And it's not just in Ireland, it's across Europe, across the United States, Canada, New Zealand, South America. Every country seems to be there seems to be a domino effect where people are seeing the medical sides to cannabis. And there's almost a renaissance going on across the world of the medical benefits of cannabis, and that's a good thing. Now the problem we have in this country, we have dinosaurs like the Fine Gael government, right?
Yeah.
And they are holding this legislation back. I mean, this legislation could have been legislated by now.
Yeah.
You could have a program set up, giving GPs, specialists, access to prescribe medicinal cannabis, and that could be in form of the oil, the raw material itself. So that's where we want to go with this, and it's very frustrating. I'll be honest with you, it's extremely frustrating. But by saying that, there is times where I do want to hit my head against the wall. I'll be honest with you in there, but
Don't blame me.
I think we'll get there. I really do. I
We
think,
will.
sometimes you feel like you're going nowhere, but in the background, I know we'll get to the place where we all want to go to, where where we don't have to hide in the shadows, where we're treated like criminals, or actually treated like patients, that people want to access this medicine. In Kenny's case, I mean, they've taken this medicine away, and that's not acceptable at all.
Yeah.
That's not
It's
acceptable.
nice.
This is a situation where it's almost a human rights issue. There's,
Absolutely.
It's not in quality of life.
Amnesty International.
Yeah, and it's quite outrageous. But we'll keep campaigning together, because we're only stronger together. And we'll back Kenny. I'll try to bring it up on Thursday, Kenny, into the doll
Yeah.
with the honesty and all that. And we'll keep fighting. And as I said, the 3 strands to this are, people power, which has brought us to this kind of point. Which I don't think there's any going back. I know it's a slow process, but there is no going back. The medical community and the political kind of community as well. I mean, TDs are open to the idea. This bill that I put forward, it would have been about a year and a half ago. It's the only bill that has gone twice to the Dáil floor And twice, on both occasions, it has, by a majority of TDs, they've said that it should progress to the next stage. So if this bill progresses, then it gets amended and then it gets, legislated for, because then the chill factor will be gone, because most doctors, they're saying, look, I'm not really going near this because, I'm prescribing a Schedule 1 drug. It's a non-authorised medicine. So they're not really, and then it's under a license. The licensing system, even though there's 7 being prescribed by the minister, he's not prescribing it, it's the doctor prescribing it. That system is a very kind of laborious and very bureaucratic system. It's a kind of case per case. So for the large majority of people that are in chronic pain, it's going to be extremely difficult to get a license. Just on one other point about the reason why this bill has been stalled. One of the main reasons why it's been stalled is because of political reasons, right, by the government. Yeah. And they have proposed a cannabis access program, and this came out of about 14 months ago from the Health Products Regulation Authority. Out of their kind of recommendations, they said there should be a program called the Cannabis Access Program. It sounds good, but when you kind of look into it, it's not that great. And it proposes only three conditions where somebody can be prescribed medical cannabis. That's epilepsy,
chemotherapy,
spasticity with multiple sclerosis, and the side effects of chemotherapy. So this was proposed 15 months ago, and nothing has happened. Absolutely zero. If and it's not, it's not a case of my name being on the bill. That's the least important thing. The most important thing for us as people here is that people get access to this medicine. Yeah. That's all
Absolutely.
it is. If the government want to take our bill and say, look, 90% of that we don't want, but we'll take 10% of it, but give people access to it and give people, freedom of choice. Yeah. So that's what we want. And I said this to Simon Harris many times. It's not about the bill. It's about take, what you want to see from the bill, and give people access. So look, that's the battle that we're up against, and I think it's a battle we are going to win, and we are. It's like it can be, as I said, it is tough at times, but the personal testimonies of people, not only in this room, are the driving force like the driving force that have been lifting this campaign, because like Vera's story with her family, it's an unbelievably powerful narrative. It's incredible. Like you could, like politicians can stand up in the Dáil, but the narrative of a mother and her daughter, or the likes of Kenny, fighting, for his condition, that's an unbelievably powerful narrative. I tell you, that's incredibly powerful, and that's what we need to kind of keep saying to TDs and the powers that be. Look, this is not going to go away. We want choice, and we want access to this medicine. It's not a cure-all by any means, but surely people have at least kind of a choice and an option of trying to use this medicine where conventional medicine has failed them.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's conventional medicine has failed them, but now they want to get access to this medicine and stop being criminalised. So we'll keep fighting on. If anybody has any questions, I'm willing to answer them. Thanks very much.
So I thought that you might like to ask a few questions. So we're going to do questions. Just a sec. We'll do. What time is it?
Yeah. It's 9.
Oh yeah, that's grand. So we'll do a bit of questions and answers. So if anybody would like to, would anyone like to ask a question or say anything?
You next. David, will you pass it to that man next? Yeah.